I don't mean to put it on your nose, but it's clear how my baby's running this a block cause you fear what you do to you if you get dirty hands and veneer. What you do, what she is, little boy, I tell you this. If baby won't sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your bank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. If baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you? She would put you in the bag, yeah. Wouldn't even need a planet. If she wanted, she a magnet. They should let her name a planet. Everything she drop like Corona, viral, make the world start over like I own her. She ain't about to set, but they really wanna throne her. Listen, she like bass, she like Hover. Self-employed, moving paper better than some Billy Boy. Made a choice on the regular, she bring a milli home. Click my phone, get my ass up, get a dinner going. Watch she out there, making sure that you all know. Baby won't sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you? She be always making money. If it's raining, if it's sunny, she make time to call me honey every day. Drop a couple bands on the cook, they need pay. Then a couple more on the tip, baby saves. Daddy's just the everyday, imagine holiday. If I get the 50 cents, she get me holidays. Signing with the fly, if you meet her, know it's true. So if she ever asks you, you know that baby won't sit, she can sit. If baby says lit, it's lit. Got your blank account and not cute. If she said it loud, it's the truth. If baby wanna ride, she can ride. Baby needs some time, she got time. Got your bank account and not cute. She can make it count, how about you?
I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil. She taking me out of this world. I'ma go all the way up. Nice guy with a cold shoulder. Yeah, we cool, but I don't know you. Wrote a flower and I'm off the potion. Give me superpowers that I won't stop. To the bank roll on supermassive. Big bank for the space chatter. Way up in a squad NASA. Copperfield with the dark magic. Subtle flex when I run a race. Tell these rap buddies eat my dust. Lil baddie after cellular. Talking life and I will set it up. I'm a sharpshooter, yeah, Will Smith. Call me Prince Park, let me freshen up. Bay boy on a level up. Way up near the nebulas. I'm never copping a chain, cause I see it all through the frames. And I leave it all on the pages, feeling like they want me locked in a cage. They want us all on their fade, but I'ma go all the way A with it, cause I don't feel all the way safe here. Yeah, spray the champagne, shower up in the air. Stunner goggles, I don't mess with the flu. Untamed and she wild off the goose. Ghost ride, yeah, I come through the roof. Tuck it 12, get it all on my tail. Hella wild and I break all the rules. Chill, bro, you way out of line. Yeah, I know it's a mood. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil. She taking me out of this world, so I'ma go all the way up. Got the squinting, got the gator spinning. I'm outrageous with it, going crazy with it. Got the phrase jumping off the page, gifted. Got the waves swishing, got the neighbors tripping. Got the trap booming, jumping out the speakers. Drip on me, jumping off the easel. Gold wristed, couldn't tell me nothing. No, bought a fisted. Cooking the bars, turn a lab into a living kitchen. Watch them grimace when I water whip it. Subtle flexing, live a candid image. Come from pushing in the S-type with no license, gas load, the windows tinted. Still couldn't see me with the zoom on your little vision. Nah, we are not the same, we got different lenses. No one snapping like we something real vivid, keep it realistic. Quick to split it with my day ones. Got the label making bank runs, cause a train of thought like a freight, huh? I'm the type to get a late start. You the type to be afraid, huh? I'm the type to never have things. You the type to have it made, huh? Yeah, wave. And I keep fuel to the flame, huh? How they got me going this hard, really I'm the type to never say much. Vice grip, got the game clutch. Every song I make the stage rush. I always said making money might change things, but never let it make us. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud, but I'ma go all the way up. Bad girl from the soil, she taking me out of this world. I'ma go
all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud. I'ma go all the way up. They keep on calling my phone. They catching on to the buzz. I got it out of the mud. I'ma go all the way up. Y'all hit up with a dream, hold it down for my team. I'm afraid of how I'm feeling. I get high in the ceiling. How I'm feeling, high in the ceiling. I've been living like I'm past rules. In this wild tattoo, living like I'm finished.
Bitch, I'ma go all the way up.
No, yeah. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. Yeah. I can't let him take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. See, we was cool right before it hit the fence, but it hit the fan when I got him down at the bench. When I took a break, I had to leave and go get cleansed. God forgive me for all my sins. I can't say these cause my last name ain't Ken. Cooking on the stove, that's the way he paid the rent. Working on the pole, that's the way she pays tuition. Better watch your soul, cause you know they trying to get it. Yeah. I learned my right from wrong on a song. I let my heart bleed on my sleeve through microphones. I'm trying to right my wrongs by writing out my wrongs. Ran through a check, cause it's hard to live off bread alone. So if you see me slipping, yeah, let me know. Cause it ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. Yeah, I need my space to breathe, that's why I be going ghost. I ain't trying to stay up on that wide road, cause I can't let them take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. I can't let him take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let him take my soul. No. They thinking I'm bluffing, but I promise I do it. That K got a drum, like murder and booming. Sending you verb, if I get my little Uzi. They thinking I'm crazy, I'm gon' see you the haters. People I'm saying, get what I'm painting. A picture big, I call it little baby. If I'm on the board, then we playing chess. If you on my way, you gon' need a vest. Act big, you might get stretched. All your gun talk, I ain't impressed. My 45 seen real traffic. That's Dallas, Texas. My little partner called her body for a Maserati. He told him get up out the car, hit him with the shotty. That 12 gauge, gave him life in the 12th grade. I tried to write him, but we ain't on the same page. I caught him slipping, I just had to let him know. It ain't the end of times yet, I know, but it's getting close. These demons really out to get you, so you better guard your post. There's certain things I could probably let go, but I can't let them take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. No. I can't let them take my soul. No. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. No. I can't let them take my soul.
Your friends, chillin', day and night for days on end. Now you can't come see me tonight. Say you ain't got the time. I'm the last one you prioritize. Peeping, your IG pictures on my phone. I won't spend another night at home. Okay, I'ma just be on my way. You'll see I'm not the one you take for granted, babe. I know that life can be busy, love. Things you do to make me stay. I used to wonder why, but now I'm left with no more tears to cry. I know that life can be busy, love, but you make time for the ones you love. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love. Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know? If you want me the way I want you, put your all into all that you do. It's only right, it's what I deserve. Love, tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Did your mind go on vacation, leaving your affection for me at home? Tell me what you done for me, done for me, done for me, done for me lately. Where's your heart and your attention? Where's the kind of love that I used to know?
In this moment,
Yes.
I cannot say what's wrong or right.
No.
It's not hard to fool me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to the good life.
Yes.
Yeah, lead the way, I follow. No need to say
No.
where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all, to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find no better one. Yeah, susceptible life before the moment flies. Ooh, so tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find no better one. Ooh, susceptible life before the moment flies. It's not a problem,
No.
'cause I know what I'm getting into.
Yes.
Yeah, and nothing can stop me,
No.
'cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find a better one. Yeah, susceptible life before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good lies, 'cause I'll find a better one. Susceptible life before the moment flies. Yeah.
If only you could see me now.
show.
What's cracking? What's cracking?
What's good? What's good?
Leave that on, and I'm gonna play another one record. That was an imposter. That wasn't me.
Oh man.
Hey, I should do that on the next show. I should just play a recording of me. You be talking.
Yeah, I was about to start talking to you. Man.
What's going on?
Multiverse, huh?
That's right. Let me get that off the screen. That's what happens when you live, man. What's going on, man?
Another great day.
Oh man. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, man. I was sitting there reminiscing about the brother, man, when I was listening to it, man. Remember you used to play this? Hold up, can't hear it. But I'll play it in a minute. But yeah, man, shout out to Kevin Samuels, man. A lot of people was hating, man. A lot of people was hating on in them streets, man. On Kevin Samuels.
And it's pretty sad though that's actually happening. People, it wasn't just hate; it was like celebration.
Oh man, yeah, we're gonna get into it today, man. For the people here, man, definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. If you on you can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, hit the one in the comments. Now, if you on Facebook, we're only gonna record this for a few minutes, and then we want you all to jump over to YouTube. I want you to jump over to YouTube. You know, but yeah, we want you guys to jump over to YouTube, man. The streets gotta eat. We gotta get these numbers up on YouTube. Our numbers is up on Facebook, man. But we need the people who support us over there. Let's go over to YouTube and get it cracking over there. So, but anyway, for the people who don't know, I'm sorry.
YouTube's better anyway. You can do what you're doing. You can minimize the screen, keep doing other work. Get over there. What you waiting on? What you got to lose?
Right, and get them likes up for us, man. Yeah, for people who don't know me, my name is LeBron J.
William A. Thomas here in the building,
and we appreciate you guys' support, man. Did you see William A. Thomas last week getting it done with someone that was on Fox News and everything else? Did you see that, folks? If you saw it, I want to get your comments on it today. Come on the show if you like. Talk about what they were talking about. It was a really great interview with Mr. Rubin. Yeah, it was really good. A lot of people called me and said they enjoyed that interview.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Tell us about the interview. I mean, tell us about the experience when you was talking to Dave.
Well, definitely, he's a consummate professional, which it kind of made me think about some things as far as the way we have to, move in the future. But, definitely a, good experience. He knows a lot of what he's talking about. And, we had a really good conversation. It ranged from what's going on in our economy to leftist tactics and things like that. So, be sure if you haven't caught it, you missed out. We might put it on the replay tomorrow.
Yeah,
think we should do
that. We'll see, man. We get enough likes or something, we might do it. If not, we're going. Streets got to eat. We got to keep it moving. But yeah, that was really good, man. Very enlightening conversation. Now, did you agree with a lot of stuff that he said, or?
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. One of the things he was definitely talking about is that, for those who don't know, he was over at the Young Turks before, and he had mentioned something really key. He was talking about when he was over there, they were about to do a show, and they were just talking about this conservative black dude, and they were lighting it. He's like, "Hold on, I know, dude. All that stuff's not true," and that's one of the things that ends up happening. When you're in the black community, you are not afforded freedom of thought. But when you are in the black community, you have to stick to one side. Otherwise, you're going to end up getting labeled. So we end up, talking about that a little bit, and we'll probably end up getting into that a little bit later. also, he has a really great book, and it's called "Don't Burn This Country." And it goes into a lot of things of what we're talking about right now. Like, we have a country to save.
That's right. That's right.
You
Now,
you could sit there and get on the news any day and see that the people who are supposedly running the country, who are probably the people behind the people, they're doing everything that they can to just tear it apart.
that's right. That's right. Um, did you see? I mean, because we're gonna talk about it. That was a great segue into what we're going to talk about. But we definitely going to talk about the BLM co-founder spending charity funds on a family. We're going to talk about that, and that's not alleged. But did you see? I think it was last week. Candace Owens came to her house, and basically she Patrisse, which is the BLM founder who left with the bag and took care of her family, not anybody else, but that's another thing. um she was crying on Instagram, fake tears, trying to get sympathy from her donors. You see that?
Yeah, those crocodile tears. So it's interesting because there's a couple themes that actually happen. Even though she sways a certain way as far as who she likes, she's still a woman. And I'm not saying, some, not all, have a habit of exaggerating things. So yeah, it was true that Candace Owens was at her door, but she greatly exaggerated. She said she was getting harassed and all that. Meanwhile, you see the camera with Candace. She's like, "Hi."
Right. And one thing that I thought was interesting is, and I don't know the exact details of what's going on, but I heard that she had a party for, I think, George Floyd or someone who was slain, in her back of her mansion, drinking and saying shots out to this brother. And my thing is, like, did you have anybody uh from her from I mean that was slain at your party, or were they servants, or like what? Did you invite them?
Do you ever see those pictures that they always have at these parties? Like the people who are the servants, like they always have the mask on, and the people who are like the elite people at the party, they never had the mask on.
Right.
And
Right.
it just looks so weird. It's like, who it's like identification, who the slaves are.
Man, I mean, like, I never supported the whole group at all anyway. I just thought it was some BS.
Mhm.
And it's not even, I mean, we could, a lot of people want to talk about history, but let's look at the history of these buffoons who go in and take money from the black community and get rich and never really help them. Never really tried to help the black community with the funds. It doesn't make sense. It is the quickest way for a black person to get rich because black people are so underserved. That's why you see Kevin Samuels came in there and got the bag. Shout out to him. He got the bag because it's an underserved community, and a lot of people tried, but they couldn't do it. You have people like O'Shea, Duke Jackson, who comes on there, and he's not dressed to success. He looked like a busted up dude when he's on with the t-shirt with the syrup stains on the shirt, you know, and he's speaking on issues, and he's very enlightened. He got he's a doctor, very enlightened with the with certain issues, right? Then you have Omar Johnson, who saw there was a space, and he come in here with his Pan Africanism, and he's recruiting. And then you got people like Boyce Watkins, which a lot of people with Boyce Watkins, they don't. It seems like he always fall out with people. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. And it's interesting because two things. On one end, he lets all those people use his channel. But the other problem is that he lets all those people use his channel. And I don't know if he's trying to create like a TV network thing or something like that. But when you do that, you have to have people who are like of the same mind. And I could go on there right now. I can pick out who's who. and they're not all the same. The way that they think.
Yeah, like he had the one guy. I mean, he had the one girl who was I ain't the ADOS chick. I forgot her name. She they fell out. Then man, there's just quite a few people that used the platform and they fell out with him. I don't understand. So I don't know. You have him. Now my question is, who's going to replace Kevin Samuels? Because
That's
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's a huge question. It seems like if you look at what's going on right now, I see someone who I think is trying to, and I hope that his heart is in the right place. Attorney Dennis Sperling. I don't know if you had saw him, but he's been doing a lot of memorial stuff, and I hadn't really heard of him until I started seeing that stuff, and it's in effect boosted his platform. I don't think that he's doing it for that reason, but I think that he may be attempting to step in to fill in that space.
I want to ask you and the people out there, is it okay for if you get donations not to tell the people what you're doing with the funds? Is that okay? Yeah. What's your opinion on that? When it comes to that.
It just depends on what it's for. So let's use, for example, T&J Radio, which we'll put the Cash App on there, of course, because we want you to, donate and help to, support our channel. But out front, we're not going to get into the exact machinations, but we're just saying, we're to be able to put out good content, help us to grow, definitely be sure to hit the Cash App. But when you're working on certain projects, like whether it's a school, business, or a mission, any of those type of things, you have to be a whole lot more specific with what's going on over time, because eventually people, they're looking at you. If you're out there just you pulling up in the new cars and stuff like that. Let me tell you a quick story. I had a someone I know. They're basically someone I know had worked for a pretty big bank and worked in a department where there was the opportunity to be able to skim money off of donations that were, those type of things. This person, was getting it, was flipping it and, making money in other ways. But this person ended up getting caught because one day, the boss had saw it and said, like, hey, that's a nice car, how's he driving that? So and ended up going the route that it went and stuff like that, because you're in something that's kind of out of place. People are always watching. So in the case of an organization, if you're out there and you're supposed to be helping Black people, that's a mission, then people are going to be looking at you. When you pull up with three, how's this she got? 3 or 4?
About 4, but it could be in counting.
So 4 houses that are 500, $500,000 or more on average. People are looking. When if you used to drive the Pinto, but now you pulling up in the Ferrari, people are watching.
Right, and I think it's, if you ask for donations and you're saying what you're explaining why you want the donations, I think you should show and prove that you can do that, because I think it will help you even more if you doing what you're saying you're doing. You'll get more from the people who's supporting you. You know what I mean? And I just think you're messing up a distrust that's already there. Black people already don't trust anybody anyway. You know what I'm saying? Now it's interesting to me where I mean, she is getting a lot of backlash right now, and I think eventually she's probably going to get audited. You know, the same thing that happened with Umar. A lot of people got upset with Umar, and then all of a sudden they start, complaining to the government where he had to be in court in regards to if he had a degree or not. You know what I mean? And then recently, it was in March. Um, there was a point where they said he couldn't get any more donations anymore until he rectified whatever situation. He sitting there lying, saying that he did not get any money. You know, and it's funny because I was listening to this interview that he did, and he made a lot of great points. He made a lot of great points. Um, and I think he was trying to talk to the people because he was saying, well, Oprah's and the billionaires should not have to, do anything for the people if the people who's making thousands of dollars are not giving. You know what I'm saying? And I think he knew that the billionaires is not going to support him, so he's trying to speak indirectly to his followers who, he want more donations. But that's just my opinion on it. But he made a valuable point, man, because anybody who try to sacrifice for black people and they get slain or they lose their career, a lot of African Americans do not have their backs. We have a history of it, like he was saying that who avenged um, Martin Luther King's death, or there's so many people right now locked up for causes for black people and we don't even know their names. No one's saying anything about it. So he does have a point there. Like nobody is going to support that person, who sacrificed their life and their livelihood.
Mm. And it's a shame because there's an argument that they're trying to make in regards to it, which I think it's a stupid one. And I think that it's counterproductive. Like a lot of them are talking about like, well, we didn't get our reparations. So this is her reparations. But I'm like, but you got that on the backs of black people. And the worst thing is off of the backs of the death of black people. Why would you want to take money and profit off of black people dying? And you're supposed to be about black lives mattering. Sounds like Black Death matters to them.
Right. It's the biggest scam in the world, because you're basically going off of emotional black people. The same way is the Democrats. What they do is it's all emotion based. You get them all emotional. Like right now, there was a shooting. While I'm talking, can you get the article up with the BLM founder?
Mhm.
There was a shooting that happened, and allegedly they were saying he was targeting black people. Right? They don't talk about the black guy who was in New York in the train station, and he shot 9 people. You know what I'm saying? Because basically what they're doing is the Democrats didn't accomplish anything right now in the 2 years, and they're going to really lose the House. Like Nancy's going to lose her job. So right now they're trying to look at something that's going to scare people to vote. You know, and so right now they're focusing on gun control. They're going to start focusing on gun control and saying these is Trump guys who came out here and we need to do something about it. They couldn't do the Build Back Better plan where when it comes to fixing up the infrastructure. They spent $40 billion they put into you. Well, I can't even say that name because they might shut you down. But into that war over there in the East, where you had a African American school that had been around for 157 years, Lincoln, which needed, I think you said, $40 million to stay afloat or something like that, and they couldn't even get help with that. I think Biden cut funding to the HBCUs. Now, I mean, whoever knows more, you can definitely send a message on that. But is that the truth, folks who's watching out there? Did he cut the funding to HBCUs? Right now, we're dealing with inflation at this point, and no one's caring about this. But back to the BLM situation. Are people mad about this? I mean, have you been hearing anything about it?
Uh, I think a lot of people I've been hearing have been just pretty much excusing it, and having a little technical difficulty with my camera. But yeah, they've been excusing it. They've been saying like, well, you don't know what she needs or whatever it is. I'm like come on.
She stepped down. What are we talking about? So you telling me you need a $6 million home? You can't look better than your flock. You get what I'm saying? I know there was a point where Martin Luther King had a little bit of extra money, and his wife wanted a bigger home, and he said no because he's going to get criticized if he taking all this money, and he's upgrading his house in Atlanta. You can't do that, especially when the chapters that you started in other neighborhoods are not getting funding. Like, and we all knew that this was a farce. We all knew that this was not going to be a good situation in regards to that. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. But in regards to, like I said, to the BLM situation, I knew it was fake. I already knew. I knew this was some BS. When you're dealing with that. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm gonna pull it up real quick here. Hold on. Share my screen. All right. Yeah. So and I was checking out this New York Post report. Hopefully, y'all can see that there. Yeah. But anyway, it says Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse used charity funds to pay her brother and child's father eye-watering sums of cash of various services, according to tax documents filed with the IRS. The co-founder's brother, Paul, saw a cool sum of $840,000 hit his account for allegedly providing security services to the nonprofit organization. That's the easiest way to give somebody money, saying that that you need them for security purposes. Oh, she's trying it. She's trying it. Tax document seems by the Post show. Meanwhile, the organization paid a company owned by was that Damon Turner? Let me see, almost $970,000 to help produce live events, as well as other creative services.
Mm.
Well, man, the foundation had an operating budget of about $4 million, according to the board members. What do you think about that so far? What I'm saying?
It sounds like they out here profiting. This is supposed to be a nonprofit. I don't know if anyone ever worked at a nonprofit, but from what I heard, other than if you're the higher up at like a medical nonprofit, or if you're the top of the top of a school or something like that, there ain't a lot of money flowing through most nonprofits. And if there is a lot of money, that money's supposed to be used more for whatever the cause is.
Listen to this. More than $37 million was spent by the foundation on grants, real estate, and charter or private flights, according to the tax filing. Why did this woman need private flights?
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
What's more, $32 million was invested in stocks, making up nearly a third of the $90 million the organization received in donations. Why would I'm confused. What they put $32 million they invested in stocks?
Yeah, not in the community. Now, the interesting thing is that the 66 million that's being talked about, that is what they filed. Like they didn't start filing with the IRS till 2020. They've been in operation for about 4 or 5 years before that, right?
Yeah, it started when Obama was in office, right?
Oh man.
They getting it.
So it's like, well, what happened? We're not seeing all of the money here.
Wow, look, BLM insists she took the flight in 2021 out of concern of COVID-19 pandemic and the health risks and that came with it. So that's why she got on the private jet.
Hmm. And
Oh my
there
goodness.
ain't nothing you can say about that because the way they scared everybody in this country.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Come on, bruh. Let me see. Wow. What are people? I mean, I wanna see what people are saying. Let me go in the Wow, this lady. Wow, man. She's celebrating with her gay wife, huh?
And could you imagine, like, remember they wanted 6 billion from Elon Musk,
Mm-hmm.
to supposedly solve world hunger.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if he actually gave them that money? Them dudes would be rich,
Yeah.
because they're going to do the same thing. That's what a lot of these organizations do. Um, you're not required to use all the money for whatever the cause is, but you're supposed to. All you're required to do really is to be transparent, make sure that you
Mm-hmm.
put the proper filings out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. Like, I mean, are they? See, my question is like, if you got people fighting out here, are you paying for the people who's getting locked up? You paying for their fees, like we hear that Jay-Z's doing when someone is protesting and getting arrested. Are you taking care of the family of the slain? I think there was a report out there which they didn't receive anything. I mean, obviously they probably still sued the police, and won a lawsuit. But that one attorney's getting all the money. The attorney that handles every case.
Crump. And what
Yeah,
is that?
Crump.
Yeah,
He
Crump.
handles every case. you know, it's just like one big. I did a video about it a long time ago about that, like the whole system of making money, uh, during these causes. Because that attorney come up there, and then you see Al Sharpton, and then
Mm,
basically they start you know, going to these companies saying, if you don't pay us, then we're going to go to the news and say you're racist. They basically, extort people.
yeah, and then they write books. Then they have not rally. They have vigils, and they have these get-togethers and stuff like that. Um, but it just goes back to who was that? George Washington Carver that said that there's a certain class of Negroes that make a business off of keeping they make a business off of race.
Mm, mm, mm. Man, she's paid, man. We need to change. Hey, we're gonna put we're part of the BLM, man. Send us some money. She threw a private birthday party for her son on on that property. Ooh, hey, man,
Mm.
we in the wrong profession, man. If people think this is okay, I'm in the raw situation here. Look, you have no morals out this mug, man. Mm, 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 mm.
They creeping on the come up. Yeah, it's amazing that that's definitely happening. But like I said, the most amazing thing is that this is happening in front of people's eyes, and people aren't really they're just kind of like it's just the way it is. Like a lot of people, they act like domestic abuse victims. They just kind of they take the hits and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
just don't leave.
Mm, mm, mm.
How long are you going to take it? Like, that someone had made a point. Someone had said that they believe that Black Lives Matter, the situation was needed, but not the organization. And you know, there are a lot more people who are starting to feel that way, but they're not really vocal about it.
Well, I don't know what to say, man. What you think about Oh, I think we kind of briefly talked about it, but Omar Johnson not having a school yet.
I had hope for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because when anyone Umar Johnson, when he came on here, he was always coming on articulate and, you know, saying things and breaking things down in a way to where a lot of people are like, okay, this is a knowledgeable brother, especially since he was talking about like the overuse of the mental health system, especially on boys, and how it pretty much keeps them in place and they're not able to progress and everybody's making money off of them, you know. So he exposed a lot of that. He knows what he's talking about. He's a school psychologist, you know, so he saw it up front. The problem is that everyone who has a talent doesn't necessarily mean that they're a jack of all trades. And it's very evident that he doesn't know how to run that type of business. You know, running a school, building a school is definitely a big thing. And he's going through the process of buying a building. First off, that building, you know, for a while, it was like, well, where's the building? Remember, he kind of had it like, yeah, we working on some things for a long time. And you just like, where to build? It was kind of like, Tommy's job, you know, like Tommy always talking about his job. We like, you ain't got no job, Tommy. What you talking about?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know. He should have started small, like you said. He don't know what he's doing. I think he's too busy chasing women. You know, if you watch his struggle streams with his shirt off, and he just like he's living it up, man. He's another one. I mean,
He's
like say,
Prince.
yeah, he's very knowledgeable until you challenge what he says. If you challenge what he says, then he start getting all tough and like a female. You know what I'm saying? Where they got to try to back you down and he's not gonna fight with you intellectually. You know, like I saw this one interview where somebody questioned his his faith in God, and because he was bashing the Bible pretty heavy, and dude shut him down, and he kind of got a little pissed off and got off the stream. You know, so but he makes valid points, man. And he's nothing but a hustler, man. He's out there trying to get the money from his congregation, if you will, which is mostly women. You know, him and Kevin, it was kind of similar. You know, Kevin had 84% women following him. Umar has a lot of women following him, and they sell this hope. I wouldn't say Samuel sold the hope. I think Samuel basically told people, what they need to know. One thing I did like about him is he talked about fashion, with men. Seemed kind of gay though, but it made me think like I need to step my game up and the kids' game up. He knew a lot about fashion and colognes and different things like that. And he had a niche. He had a product on there. Umar, he had this. I want to say it's tangible, but it's really like intangible product that he's selling. What are you selling? Because you're going into these women and you're sitting there saying that you ain't doing a good job. Your husband's not doing a good job. Or I mean, you don't have a husband, so you're like, I'll be your husband. That's what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I'll mess with you, and I'll have your kids into my school. And I'll teach them how to be a man. I'll teach them how to fish and do all this other stuff. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, is the African Americans are being underserved, and the men are not in the house, and this is the product of it because most of the time, women's going to be donating to give you money and different things like that. Anyway,
well, let me tell you who. All right, we talked about the negative of it, but I'm gonna go to the positive. We're gonna give a shout out to a young brother who is actually doing it. He actually built a school. Started from the ground up, man. We're going to talk about King Randall down in Albany, Georgia. Young man in his lower 20s, probably like 23 years old right now. He started a school in his house, boarding, letting these boys, stay there, and he's teaching them. And then eventually he gets sponsors and things like that. You hear about them going and they purchase like 60 acres of land. And then next thing you know, they're purchasing an actual physical school. They're going around the country. They're learning how to change oil, how to fix things, just a lot of things that men should know how to do. So definitely want to give a shout out to that young man, King Randall, down in Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think you have to have the whole system if you want change. It's one thing to teach somebody highly educated. Umar, he went to school. He didn't go to a black college. He went to a white school, if you will call it a white school, and got his education. But okay, so let's say you get this school, right, and it's up and running this year at the end of the year, which we don't know if it's going to run or not. Okay, so once they graduate from your program, where are they going to go? This is a high school, correct? I mean, this is, I guess, I don't know what grades he's going to have in this, but let's say they get through your school program, then what? Are you going to push going to a African American school? Or are you going to have them go to a school in Delaware or wherever the school is? Because like I told you before, it don't make sense if we're talking about white supremacy, right? Then that means that we have to own stuff, and we only own 1%. If we want to talk about that, right? And so once you go to school, and let's say you did go to school in Delaware, because they got a black college there,
right?
There's no jobs there, so they're going to move anyway. They want to go to the white job. You know what I'm saying? Like in Pittsburgh. I remember. Shout out to Andre. He sent me an article saying that Pittsburgh was one of the most racist places in America. For it was hard for African Americans there. Okay, so let's say you go to school there, you go to Pitt or Point Park or wherever, Duquesne University. You want to make a thing for yourself. And I noticed a lot of people who came from DC who wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. They could not find jobs, so they had to leave, go elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're not thinking about building a community. Are you going to have these kids stay where you're at, or are they going to get the education and leave? Is it going to be like India when they want all these foreign people to come here, and so India learn, people from India, they learn tech and coding or whatever the case, engineering, and then they started their own stuff over there, their own tech companies over there, and they're leaving.
Right. Well, that's the only way that I could see that really having a wild impact is if they are going out and creating businesses, because just like you said, like the only thing after, high school, it's either a non-black college or a historically black college, but neither of them are teaching what Umar is trying to teach.
Hey, it don't make, like, how are you going to be productive unless they're going to be hustling like you? That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the long term. Like, what is this? How is this going to help someone? Are you teaching? I mean, maybe he is teaching entrepreneurship. I don't know, but even like when it comes to a lot of these people who got schools, they're public schools. They didn't create the school. They're getting funding in tax dollars, like LeBron's school or P. Diddy got a school. What's the name got a school in Jalen Rose got a school in Michigan. I mean, like, what are we doing? Because these neighborhoods are run down. Detroit, I was up there. I lived there for 2 years. Detroit's pretty much doing bad. The city of Detroit, how are you going to keep these young people? Because this is a young man's world right now. We need more, inventors, and we don't need any more basketball players and football players and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We don't need more athletes. We need people who can invent these apps, and we're about to go into this metaverse situation going on here. We need more policemen. So
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah. Plumbers, all of that. It's, it's definitely a huge need. And I mean, it's like, are they going to be history teachers or something? Or,
That don't make sense to me. And right now, like the future, the future is interesting because right now our fertility rate is lower with the millennials. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not having babies until they're older, and we have to have a certain amount of babies every year for the society to grow as a whole, and just in particular in the United States. Right now, we're about to go into this recession. A lot of people, like Grant Cardone, say we are in a recession right now. But either way, it's coming. You got the stock market plummeting to an all-time low since the pandemic started. You know what I mean? We have right now rubber is low. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things going on right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so what do you think about Joe Biden right now and his recovery in his 2 years? What would you rate him?
Oh, if this is this Build Back Better? This is what Build Back Better is? Has if this is Build Back Better, you can have it back. I think that a lot of people have purchased and they're getting buyer's remorse right now. Of course, I don't believe that he was put in there in a, I'll just say in a correct way. I ain't going to get us kicked off of here, but if you know, but our country's getting destroyed, and it's not just a matter of one person. It's not just a matter of Joe Biden, but it's people that are controlling him, people that think like him, that put together these policies that are bad policies, and they always sound good. It's just like the Black Lives Matter thing. Sounds good, right? And that's how the people that think like this, they do. They will use wording of things that either will get a rise out of people or wording that sounds good. Pro-choice, choice sounds good, right? What's wrong with having choice? So when we're getting into the government and they're putting all of these crazy regulations there, we just had the pandemic with the Cody going on, and they shut all these businesses down. And the only ones that were able to be open were the grocery stores, and the only ones who got rich were the grocery stores who were allowed to be open. Amazon, Tesla, and Facebook.
And by the way, all the names you mentioned, their stock went down pretty heavy.
Yeah. So it's crazy though. Like people want to talk about this stuff about against the wealthy and stuff like that. What you gotta understand is that the wealthy create jobs, and the wealthy help to keep the economy going. And instead of trying to eat them, you better learn from them, because if they're gone, then the only thing we're going to end up having in the long run is socialism. And socialism, it's like we're all just in the same bucket, and we'll be at the level of misery wherever we end up. It's either low misery or high misery. Take your pick.
Yeah, so the Dow tumbled 1,100 points. It said the worst trading day since June 2020 during the pandemic.
And there's some audacity going on. It's so funny. I hear the word gaslighting come from the people who are getting gaslit. Like what kind of Stockholm syndrome type stuff is this? Like they sound crazy, but when we're talking about the stocks and all that stuff, These are, once again, a big picture of bad policies. And what they'll do is, like, the administration, they'll say something like, well, no, it's because the rich are profiting and we need to tax them more. So what they'll try to do is to enact the stuff that they wanted to do in the first place and try to say that that's what the reason, that's what's going to help you. So just like whenever they had did the different acts, like where, the good thing, they said, all right, we want to get money out to the people. But the behind the scenes things, they said, you know what, we've been trying to get funding for this museum. We've been trying to get funding for this little art show or something like that. We've been trying to get funding for, our agendas. So what we're going to do is we're going to sneak that into the bill.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what they do. And at the end of the day, we end up getting caught with the real bill, because of, that bill. Now, we're not going to let Trump off the hook. He has some culpability in it too. In fact, he wanted to make sure to put his name on the checks, right? And we're going to be fair here and stuff. I like a lot of what he did. Lowest unemployment rate for Black people and pretty much the history of since they started recording it. Our country was prosperous all over. Great. But he knew better. He had a book about that. It's called Why We Want You to Be Rich. And that book, him and Robert Kiyosaki, they talked about how the government is printing us to death. And they're killing our savings. They're causing inflation. And they're causing the dollar to get weak. So he's aware of that. And that's one of my big problems with him, is that I'm like, if you knew that, why would you do that? But at the end of the day, he was in politics and he was probably trying to buy votes.
Well, there's never been a time where politicians are looking at the budget, man. They ain't caring about this budget, the deficit, and all that stuff anymore. That's why they keep spending trillions. Ever since Newt Gingrich in 1994, who, I don't put everybody want to give credit to Bill, for having, a surplus on his presidency, but really it was Newt Gingrich. He put the line in the fire, the line in the sand, and he controlled the House and the Senate at that time. So he was like, no, because if you look at the cuts that they did back then, that's typically what Republicans do. Like they cut back child care and different things like that. That's not a Democrat philosophy, but he takes the credit for it, but he don't want to take the fall when it came to the bubble. Right now we have a lot of bubbles that's about to burst. We have the car industry, we have the housing industry, which was about to crash. I don't know if you know anybody that own homes. I'm like, the rent is going up in these places. This is about to really get ugly. We have food shortage where people are not getting baby food like that. It's going to get in the farmers, like there's cost of seeds and different things that they need to to farm is about to go up. So it's really about to get ugly, and a lot of people's not paying attention to it. And the media use distractions, like they use the shootings that's going on. And I'm the one that like to say there's shootings every day, B. You know what I mean? Like if we look at the total murders in a month in these cities, and it surpasses one person coming out to shoot. And quite frankly, this should get people to load up. I was saying this on Facebook. When you have people like who have mental health issues and they're going in there with the racial tones and trying to shoot all these people up, shooting these old people up. Well, this is the time for the men, the African American men, to load up. You need to be having your weapon anywhere you go, and you see something jump out, you start busting. You know what I'm saying? Like start protecting our community. We sitting there crying and doing all this, and we worried about a man who gets arrested and he didn't get killed. Which, my opinion, I feel like it's better to keep them alive and let them suffer more than death because that's the way out. That's the cop out. Oh, I ain't going to jail. Boom, kill myself. You know what I'm saying? That's how people are. You remember with the lady who in Colorado, I think it was Colorado. I don't know, but the lady who was a correctional officer, I believe, and she broke that guy out of jail, and
Right.
she was going on the run for 6 days, I believe. And when she got caught, what's the first thing she did? She shot herself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's a cop out. So, my thing is let the person suffer his whole life and be in jail with mostly black men. Have them in the public, not hiding in some solitary confinement. Have
Mhm.
them in the public with a bunch of black people. He want to act like that. The gun's gone now. What you gonna do in there? You know.
At the end of the day, with arming up, they're always teaching. The left has always been against black people being able to have guns. If you look at the history of the country, there's been the gun laws and things like that. They were specifically put out there to restrict the usage of guns for black people in America. So when you sit there and see that they are teaching the same black people that like you should be for gun restriction and things like that, like they have a habit of they'll come out with a bad or a racist policy, and then they'll convince the black people that it's good for them, and the black people just champion them because they went in, they got the preachers involved, they got the leaders involved, they got all these people that the black people respect involved, and they just follow in mass, and you end up with these stupid types of support, like black people supporting gun gun laws and trying to restrict it.
Mhm.
It's so
Foolish.
antithetical. Yeah. Just like I say with the abortion thing, right? Like we're at the bottom when it comes to numbers, population, right? So why would you support something that, hey, if you didn't have the knowledge at first in the past, whoever you are, that's fine.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily that it's fine, but no one's judging you in regards to that because you didn't know. But if you know that in the past, Margaret Sanger had a plan to be able to try to get rid of the black people and try to get rid of the inferior, quote unquote, people through eugenics, and put together this program, because these were the people who were the philosophers and so-called scientists. And what she said was that I'm going to make nice with their leaders. I'm going to make nice with their preachers because we know that they'll follow along after. So for any of the black people to support this dumb stuff, it's just crazy. You're basically supporting your own genocide. You're supporting an inability for your community to be able to grow, all under the auspices of you want to just be able to have sex whenever you want with no type of repercussions, or you want to just call it women's rights or whatever it is. And I know that people want to go to the extreme every time. They want to say, well, what if someone was they were
Raped.
9 years old and they got raped on the public mass transit, and the bus driver didn't help them and stuff like that, and they got PTSD. They want to go to the most extreme to try to prove the point. But the fact of the matter is that if you want to talk about ideologies that come out of racism and you're still supporting it, you are a fool.
I
You're a
agree.
fool.
I agree. I totally agree. And when I used to work in social work, there was a thing called kinship care, and what the whole concept was, it was a brilliant concept. Is when a lot of times these the parents was not fit. I believe it was I forgot what you call it, but they were dependent on the state. And they were dependent on the state, then if they were going into adoption, they would send them out to a white family or another family who wanted the kids, and there'll be a black kid growing up in this white family, and obviously, it's kind of hard to do, when you're doing that. But the kinship was basically, okay, we have this child that needs someone to take care of it. So they would basically search someone in the family, like an aunt, uncle, grandmom, to take care of the child, and the state will pay for their, to help them, raise the child. Now, if they can do that for that, why can't they do that if you have a baby and you can't take care of it? You know what I'm saying? Like we have to really strengthen up our families here. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, it's a village. It takes a village to raise a child. Like when I was growing up, I had my aunts, my uncles, and different things like that to help if we ain't had no food in the house or I was locked out the door. I could go to these places. We really need to stand on our own. And it's funny because like the same thing that if we look at Atlanta, for instance, Atlanta had Jim Crow for 100 years,
Right.
but yet they are doing better than every other black community across the United States because they work together.
Mm.
If you look at the industry and the sports, I mean not sports, but the music industry or any other industry, everybody comes down to Atlanta because black people are working with each other. It's just so happened that they was forced to work with each other at one point. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden they're doing better than everybody else because they're working together. And that's what it takes. Like we have to have some accountability. You know, you can't have you can't have a sometimes you can't have a backup. Sometimes you just gotta be like, hey, you it's going to be we have to be forced to deal with each other. You know, and if it's us against them, then we should be working together. But that's not necessarily the case on so many situations. But like I said, the kinship thing works. And shout out to Second Chance. The lady who runs it making that money, but she just put a concept that we've been doing for years to come before that. Grandma took care of everybody. If right now, but you do make a valid point. Um, we these kids needs to be held accountable for certain things, man. But I think a lot of times that some people fear that they will do abortions on their own. But I would say, hey, that's criminal. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to do it that way, so they're basically saying, well, if they do it this way, then I'll just let a doctor do it, and you won't get charges for it, pretty much. Because back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they were doing that a lot.
But it runs contrary to how the market ends up working. Now, I don't want to really associate abortion with the market, but it is. I mean, it's a service. It's something that they're selling. Someone's profiting off of it. Someone's profiting off of baby organs and stuff like that. That's a whole other conversation. But in the process, history has shown that if you outlaw certain things, yeah, there may be some people that do it, but it will discourage the act a lot. A lot of people think about prohibition, they think that it didn't work. Yes, it did work. Yeah, they were doing it illegally, but it was down a whole lot. There weren't as many people drinking. The numbers are out there to be researched. And even after they lifted prohibition, it took a while before it got to the levels of where it actually was before. So a lot of people are saying that if you were to outlaw it, all these women are going to be in at the back alley doctors and things like that.
They will, but
Not as much, not as many.
I think they will.
It's not going to be close because a lot of them are going to be discouraged, and a lot of them are going to end up keeping their kids.
Well, I mean, the same way they're doing all these booty shots. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm not I don't know. I don't agree with the point that you're making.
Mhm.
I just think it should just be outlawed because it's against God, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It ain't my opinion; it's the truth. Because like the one valid point that you always make is Ray Caruth, right? Was it Ray Caruth? Didn't he get charged twice, even though the guy didn't die? I mean, I think his wife, his girlfriend died. He tried to kill him because her because she was pregnant, and I think the baby lives, and then he get charged twice.
Mm.
Like now. So what I'm saying is, like you always say, if you kill a pregnant woman, both
Right.
of them you're going to jail double murder.
Yep.
So that's the point. The point of the matter is, I don't care about that. Like if you commit a crime, it's a crime. You know what I'm saying? And for anybody who have a child, come on. And there's so many people who want to have a child. Like that'd be a blessing. That could be the next person who creates a cure for cancer or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But they're so quick to try to do this population control. They've been doing it for years. Like you said with Margaret Sanger, that was a whole thing of they didn't want African Americans to grow in population. And then what did they do in the 1900s? They got all these immigrants that look white. I'm not saying they did it on purpose, but all the immigrants that look white because a lot of them changed their name to sound American. Like my family last name was a certain thing, and they changed it. The people that was on the white side,
Mm-hmm.
they changed it to sound American. What you think they're doing now?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They're bringing certain people over. They're putting them in certain pockets of America so they can get votes.
Yep.
And we need to really pay attention to this, but nobody really cares because they're just worried about pop culture. Like we keep worrying about food and circus. That's what they said back in the Roman times. We just worried about the NBA playoffs and are we going to get a stimulus check or something like that? Taxes, and that's another thing. We got to get a tax person up here to talk about the taxes, man.
Oh
Because everybody get excited about money that they took from you. It doesn't make sense.
This is another scam.
Like the government, if a government said there, if you see a government official and they say they want to help you, that's a scam. Any government official say they want to help you, that's a scam. So let's back up off of there. But good talk, man. We're gonna pretty much end the show right now. But if you haven't already, definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe, also hit that notification bell. Is there anything you want to leave the group with, crew?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, all I'm gonna just say is just open your eyes. Like right now, we are in trouble, but in the process of that, there is a lot of opportunity. There's opportunity for wealth, opportunity for health, opportunity, get a lot of different things, but there's trouble right now in the waters.
That's right.
Everything ain't right. And hopefully, like, just stop defending this stuff. That ain't right.
and you better pay off all your debt right now because they about to move up that interest rate. The Feds is about to start playing with this money because we got this recession coming. But yeah, I'm gonna leave you with Kevin Samuels, man. Shout out to him, RIP. And we got to push off the message, man. The message that he gave the people. But here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. Hold on. Real quick. He's trying to play ads. I ain't playing that. But while it's about to play,
right.
Yeah, that was a sad thing about Kevin Samuels, man, and I don't like the fact that a lot of people try to discredit his name, saying he was broke and all that stuff because he was trying to tell truth, and also he had a show, so all people was like, oh, he's mean to women, and then man, we got to talk about it another time about what that pastor did, Pastor Bryant. I don't know if you saw that, Jamal Bryant, but he ended up apologizing, which I appreciate, but. That was not right. You go in there because you catering to your flock of women on your show and try to discredit this man while he's dead and you're a pastor. Wow. But anyway, hold on. Remember you used to play this? He used to put people on. Hold on. He used to put people on hold when he had enough people on there. Put this on. Yeah, but shout out to RIP to Samuels, man. But I'll let y'all go, man, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.